Hey, so what did the gorgonzola say to the cheddar? Looking sharp. So here we are back for Cheese Friday. Hey everyone, meal number one for today. I am so thrilled. I've got my piece of salmon with a pat of butter on it. I've got three of these awesome happy eggs of the blue and brown. So look at those lovely yolks, guys. So bright and orange. And then also a bun with butter and my plain black coffee. You sort of see it. I don't want to spill it, but I didn't have my clear glass for you guys today, so it is what it is. Um, but that's it for meal one. I hope that you enjoyed the Cheese Friday segment, and I will be back with meal number two. Now, I wasn't like super starving this morning, and a lot of times I'm very hungry for breakfast. So I just made a, a regular amount of food, and usually my breakfast is bigger, but I did not add any bacon. I did cook like some so-so sort of steaks last night for everybody else, even though I had eaten, and there is some left over in the fridge. If I'm hungry, I'm going to go downstairs and cut off a couple slivers of that and crisp it up in the frying pan. It's subpar, so it's like some kind of old piece of chuck I found in the freezer. So it's not like some kind of fancy meat. If I want more food, I don't think I will. This looks like plenty, and even right now, I'm like I could eat, but I am not ravenous, which is why I didn't have a fat coffee. So that's my plan, and I'll let you know if I do supplement anything by the second for my second meal. But otherwise, I just plan to be back this afternoon. It will be another salmon. I don't know. It might even be the same. I bought my favorite eggs this morning because I had to go buy saline. I know those are not two related things, but I bought my very favorite eggs, and it's hard to say. It's hard to not just like say like all I want is eggs today and just smash that whole dozen. I'm not going to do that, but I might eat half of it today and just have this exact same meal again. Maybe. Maybe not. Moods change in the afternoon. So we'll just get there when we get there and we'll see what happens. So I will see you guys in a little while. Hey everyone, so here we are for Cheese Friday, and what I have here today is the Kerrygold Vintage Irish Cheddar. So a couple different things about this is Vintage Irish Cheddar is a special type of cheese, not just for Kerrygold, and I wasn't able to get to a creamery, of course, so that's why I've got the Kerrygold, and they do a little something weird in that they take it out of the wax and then vacuum seal it, which to me takes away from the cheese itself. Now, as you know, I mentioned earlier, I've decided I'm not ready to reintroduce the cheese, so I'm not going to taste it for you today, but we will taste it, and so we'll have like a part two to this. But I wanted to show you the cheese. Well, I mean, there's not a whole lot for you to see, but you can see that it has the oily sheen to it, and it's just starting to get some of those ice crystally sort of patches, but it's not all the way there to like your aged cheddar. But, oh, there it is. Lost my napkin for a second. Um, so the thing is, what makes a vintage cheddar versus aged cheddar versus medium cheddar, all of those things that we've talked about in the past. That actually is age. Vintage cheddar is aged from 12 to 24 months. You might remember from our aged cheese, it was aged a little longer. Our extra sharp was, was a much shorter time frame. Aging is the big difference. And then when you come to the coloration, the difference would be like the addition of turmeric or other spicing agents to the cheese. So I will say, normally I'm a big fan of salted Kerrygold butter. That's the best. However, when it comes to their cheese, even even I don't know, it's still nutty and nicely scented, but because they've taken it out of the wax and put it in there, I get like a little plasticky aftertone, which I'm not excited about. It really detracts from the cheese. So that's a big negative on the Kerrygold. It will still be fabulous. I'm still going to really enjoy it. You can see the coloration. It's got that nice creamy white. It is a cow's milk cheddar. So all that good stuff. I will reseal it in my own bag, which will hopefully help diffuse away that plastic, even though it's plastic itself. But it tends to not impart it into the cheese that's been cut. And so the other thing about that is it is really, really nice to put vintage cheddar on charcuteries. It really pairs well with savory. So while usually salty aged cheeses go well with sweet jams, these go well with a strong, spicy, peppery sort of flavor profile. It's excellent on top of savory dishes too, or other creamy things, or things that are creamy and spicy, like your pumpkin soups or things like that. For some reason, it's the vintage cheddar is really complementary to those sort of things. Also really good for like on top of, oh, I don't know, it's just got so many dishes that it goes well on top of. I'm trying to think off the top of my head and it's not coming to me. But your egg dishes or on top of like your chilies. But it really comes to think to me, I think of like a peppery, spicy sort of dishes is where it really shines. And so sometimes you get like those cured meats that have like the big peppercorn pieces into it. That is a perfect pairing for this. So that is our Kerrygold Irish Vintage Cheddar. There are lots, and if you come across vintage Irish cheddar and it's got the black wax on it, that's the one you want. So there we go. That's our Cheese Friday. I promise it will be more exciting in the future. We are very soon to reintroducing a lot of things, but I wasn't ready for it today. I didn't feel like I had a long enough time with the salmon. Of course, now after I've had my meal this morning, I feel really great, and I was almost going to try it, and then I decided at the last minute, we're all right. We can wait and we can do another cheese next Friday. And instead, this week, I think my next thing to introduce is going to be lemon. Lemon is a questionable choice. It's a fruit, so it's different, but it will add such versatility to my cooking. And it means that we can make actual hollandaise on the Sunday live stream. It's going to really bump up the flavor profile for both salmon and for shrimp. So I'm going to do lemon and then shrimp. It also means that my water can start having some gosh darn flavor to it. Also, lemon goes great in coffees if I want to do like a summery light coffee. We've done that before where it's the sparkling water and the coffee with the lemon. So it's a really versatile ingredient, and I will of course be completely crushed if I find that it bothers me. I can't imagine that it will. It's a very, despite it being a highly acidic ingredient, tends to be very neutral on the allergen spectrum. It also tends to not be very high spiker of the glucose as long as you're not going crazy. It also means if I don't mind the fact that there's zero sweet to it, if I do cream cheese next, I'm really close to some kind of a fluffy sort of dessert. I'm not sure how I would pull that off yet, and I don't know that I could pull it off for Thanksgiving. I might be getting too crazy there. But we'll see. We'll see where we go, right? Because it's all about just kind of easing back into things. I'm open to ideas and suggestions, things that you think might be useful or beneficial, although I'm obviously going to make choices based on what my needs are and how I'm feeling at any given moment. So I have a smoked meatloaf getting ready to go into the smoker, and it'll be done for my meal number 2, and I'm looking forward to that. So I know I should probably have more salmon. and I might have a slice of salmon with it, but I just don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm really wanting more of those eggs. They were so good. So I'm sort of thinking that I might not worry about it and I might have a slice of meatloaf and an egg. It's all going to be a surprise. So next up is game of the day, and I've got a great one today. You'll love it. Well, and if you won't, and if you don't, that's okay because it's mine and I love it. So I look forward to sharing that with you and enjoy your cheddars. Hey everyone, time for our game of the day, and today's game is a robust one. It's called the Isle of Cats. And first, I'm going to tell you they had a big sense of humor because on the inside of the lid, if you have a pet cat, place it here while playing. I would recommend not really doing that, but you know how cats love boxes. So I just thought that was pretty funny. But I should tell you, this is a complex, heavier game, and it does cost money. It's like 65 bucks, 65 bucks. So know that in advance. Let's see what it says. Oh yeah, so the age recommendations are 12 plus, and that's for the full game. But also, they do have in the instructions a more simplified rule set that you can play, and then for that one they recommend 8 plus. But I'm still going to say it is quite a lot, and we cannot go through all the gameplay in this little thing. What I can tell you is that this is an incredible game. It is very popular. People do tend to love it. And let me just give you a little talk about it. What is the premise, you might wonder? Obviously, it's about cats, but big evil armies are coming to destroy the world and particularly the island. And so, what are you going to do? Save the world? No. Why do we care about that? Save the cats. You should know who you are watching on YouTube. Cats. We love cats. Who cares about the rest, right? And I am not the only one who shares that opinion. In fact, what I will do is put a link to one of my favorite YouTube channels. He has a playthrough and says basically the same thing. Well, cats. There are multiple types. These are going to be your player tokens. You've got red, green cats, and let's see. So this is the main action board. This is what's going to tell you the rounds. The bad guys are going to slowly advance. And when it gets here, this is what is going to denote the end of the game. But you do so many things. Like I said, we can't go through the whole thing, but I can tell you that throughout the game, there is a stack of cards that are going to give you different options. There is a way, it's a drafting sort of procedure. So you start out with a certain amount of cards from the draw deck. You take two, pass it around, take two, pass it around, take two, pass it around, as you build your deck from you as you play. The other thing that happens with your player board is you have treasures. So these are going to be, why would I pick three of the same shape with the same? So according to the rules, depending on how many players you have, you'll be given a certain amount of treasures to have from the center board. Of course, in the rules, there are ways to get them to your personal board, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So those are common treasures. You also have fish, because periodically you'll need to go fishing and keep fish to feed your cats. They can't go hungry. You'll also need to keep your fish safe, so you have baskets for your cats. And when it's used, it's occupied or broken. Let's see, what else here? Oh. So I'm going to show you two things in two orders. This is your player board. So you have your center board, the island. Whoops, almost knocked off my water. Then you have your player board. Now, you see that there's a grid on your ship. This is going to be very important as you play. There's all kinds of little symbols on it. They have different meanings and matters. But ultimately, as you rescue cats, because cats will be drawn out each round and placed around the center board. Naturally, I pulled premium treasure. Okay, here's some cats. Let me show you. You've got green cats. Oh, that's a weird shape, right? Golden cats or orange, well, red cats, green cats. There it is. Kitty, kitty, kitty. And let's see if I can find one. Take one out. A purple cat. So there are lots and lots of cats, and through each turn you're going to be there. Some will be drawn and set out so that you can do different actions based off the cards you have. And to rescue cats sounds easy, right? Except you have to get your cats on the boat. So you have to have baskets. And when you get your cats, you notice they're all different shapes. And there's a grid on your boat. So they have to fit in here on the grid. So you got to be strategic about how you're rescuing your cats because they have to be able to fit on there. If you can't, then the cat does not get rescued and you have failed your mission. There are things too, like if you have an orange cat and you cover up an orange treasure, you get a premium treasure. So that would be, instead of the little common treasures, gold treasures. And you would have to place that. So you want to make sure that you're placing your kitties carefully because they'd have to join in order to have the treasure. So all kinds of fun little movement things. Like I said, it could take me half an hour to actually go through the game and tell you about it, but I can tell you that despite it being super, super cute, it's actually quite a complex game. Really good for thinking and strategizing. The turn orders rotate, all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of actions to it. It's worth every penny. And if you have a board gamer in your life, this is a great game. They will love it. So, Isle of Cats, that's my game of the day. I hope that you, if you like board games, you consider it. It's a top-notch game. So there you go. And again, link down below. I've put a playthrough, so it kind of gives you the rules and can tell you, it will really demonstrate how complex it is and why there's a lot to it. And that's it. So Isle of Cats. I have not had my meal too today. I had put my meatloaf in the smoker, but later than I had planned. And so now I'm waiting for it to cook. I would like meatloaf. I don't want salmon. I'm tired of salmon already, which is weird because what? I want beef and bacon? Okay. Actually, what I really want is eggs. So I'll be back in a few minutes and show you what I've eaten. I'll talk to you later. I hope that you have a good time. Bye bye. All right, hey everyone. So here we are, meal number 2. I have a piece of smoked meatloaf and 2 poached eggs, which look exceptionally bright for some reason in the light. Uh, oh well, I can't really do much about that. So, but yeah, that's my meal too. Very simple. It doesn't seem like a ton, but I had my big breakfast, and I'm a little hungry now, but I'm not ravenous. May change when I start eating, but I feel like that's plenty. The smoked meatloaf was made by mixing together my ground beef with 2 eggs and a scoop of beef gelatin and about a cup and a half of crumbled up bacon. So it's a pretty hearty meatloaf. It does have quite a lot of servings. 2, 3, 4, about 10 servings. So I feel like this is a nice hearty meal, even though it looks smaller on the plate. Once I'm done eating it, it will certainly sit there very nicely on my stomach.